Assalamu alaikum, adabers. Nazreen, a very warm welcome. Nazreen, yet again, we have a very special guest who is internationally renowned for her books. She's the author of many books. She's also a motivational speaker. She's a healer. She's a coach. She's a yoga teacher. Frankly, the list is endless. But above it all, she is a spiritualist. She claims that she got a spiritual message to write a book on Ramadan, aptly titled Ramadan for the Woman You Are. I'm going to talk about her book, but little info about my guest. Her name is Simone Moir. Now, Simone Moir is an internationally best-selling author. She's a speaker and empowerment coach specializing in spiritual well-being. With over 20 years of experience in yoga therapy as a pain specialist and energy worker, her coaching system, in inverted comma, melt my stress. She reconnects with the authentic inner wisdom which lies at the basis of any personal growth and is often overlooked. Simone Moir's book offers a unique journey of self-discovery and spiritual connection with God, inviting you to explore your faith in a fresh and accessible way. Simone Moir is a non-Muslim Roman Catholic Christian. So, without any further delay, please welcome Sister Simone Moir. Salam alaikum.
Salam
How
alaikum.
are you?
Very well,
How are
thank you
you?
so much. Pleased to
I
be
hope I
here.
have given a very apt. I'm happy that you are here again. I'm bothering you. I know today it's Women's International Day, and you are launching your book. All the best wishes to you for that.
Thank you so
Zivana,
much.
let's start. Can you tell us about your background and that led you as a non-Muslim to write a book on Ramadan? That's
Hmm.
your take.
Yeah, it struck me as surprising too. I get told to write. I know you mentioned it that I have a clear connection and I get guided very clearly. It's like as strong as a sat nav.
Yeah,
I get told what to do and I usually follow.
yeah.
And so one day which comes after a long story of little moments in my life where I have met Islamophobia and I knew it was wrong. It just didn't feel right. And every time I noticed it and experienced it, I went like, I need to do something about it. And I always heard,
Okay.
not yet. Not yet. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, so I'm gonna do something about it. And that was like 20 years
Yeah.
ago. And then little, there is no such thing as coincidences. I've had Muslim
No,
coaching
of course.
clients. I have
Hmm.
coaching clients from all around the world. So also
Hmm.
Muslim females. I work with females only. And
Okay.
and I have supported them through Ramadan. And we have made different notes, and they found the hints and tips that I had really useful. And they did say you need to write them down. So
Okay.
last year, actually exactly a year ago, it was Mother's Day, like this weekend here in the UK,
Okay.
and
Okay.
and I took some time off after I just wrote another book, and I just wanted to put my
Mm.
feet up. And the only mistake I've made that I know is I took my laptop with me. And
Oh,
that was just to watch some Netflix or just to have like a little bit of chill time. I didn't want to
yeah.
do any work. And I started my
Hmm.
weekend with my usual meditation that I do daily. And it was as
Yes.
clear as nothing else. You're going to sit down and you're going to write the Ramadan book. Now is the time. And I just went like, you are kidding me. First of all, I know very little about Islam. Second of all, I've just wrote a huge book to save lives. It's a suicide prevention method. I need a
Hmm.
break.
Hmm. Hmm.
Give me a break.
Hmm.
And it's just like,
Yes.
and it's always so beautiful. I will fuel you. Don't you worry. I will
Wow.
fuel you. Don't worry
Wow.
about a
Wow.
thing. So I sat down.
Simone, tell me something. Did you have a vision? What was it that, or was this just a voice in your ears telling you to write a book? What was
So
it? Can you explain it in
yeah, so
detail?
since childhood, I've had the voice. I've always had the voice as long as I know. And I always thought everyone had the voice. So
Mm.
I thought
Yeah.
everyone could see energy. I thought everyone would be able to read between lines like I did, which is highly intuitive, which I only now know how
Mm.
how
Now
powerful
you
it is.
realize, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And people
Yeah.
speak about energies all the time in metaphors, so you just assume
Mm.
they can see it. But I'm low in energy. Well, I can
Mm.
see you're low in energy, so obviously you must be
Yeah.
perceiving it. And that has been all my life, that way.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
is very much a voice, a fairly loud voice. So
Okay. I'm
bossy.
going to question you, but later on. But let me just now ask about the book that you have written. Your book covers a wide range of topics from productivity to spirituality. We'll be talking about spirituality later on. But how do you manage to weave things together seamlessly? I mean, this is something something very astonishing.
Yeah, to me too, honestly. So I just sat down and I call myself the opposable thumb of God. God can't write because God doesn't have an opposable thumb. So I just sat down and wrote like a madwoman for 4 days, 100 pages. And that was the
Oh
structure of it.
wow!
It's still the same structure. I got the structure given, the index. So we have 14 chapters. The book is
Mm,
available on Kindle on Amazon, and
mm,
it's just really simple. So the first five chapters are what stands in the way of a satisfying, the best ever Ramadan. And that is
okay.
digestion, because you eat late and go to bed on a full stomach.
Yeah.
Hydration, a huge thing.
Mm,
And dry fasting is
mm,
really healthy as long as you really know
mm,
how to hydrate. And that should be better known. And this is a fantastic chapter. Sleep,
mm,
sleeping on a full stomach,
mm.
not so easy. Resting throughout how to do
Yes,
power and things like that.
very
Exercise, move
important.
the lymph. Don't just not move, and don't move too much. So it's kind of like finding the right mix for everyone. And then it's
Yeah.
focus. We always say, or I hear it all the time, Simone, my head's just so
Mm.
full. Can you show me how to be more quiet so I can focus on prayer? Well, I
Good
put all
idea.
the time
Yes.
I have in that chapter.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to give some tips to my viewers about that.
Yep,
Okay. Later
pleasure.
on. Yes. And another thing that your book also touches on mindfulness and meditation,
Yeah.
right? So how
So the
important are
next
these
chapters,
in
yeah,
somebody's well-being?
yes, yes. So the next chapters are all
Mindfulness.
about that, about
Okay.
mindfulness, about
Mm,
gratitude, creativity, curiosity,
mm,
the power of
mm,
blessing and being blessed. Because
mm,
if I bless you in my prayer
mm,
because you're such a beautiful
mm,
person, are you
mm.
able to receive it? Are you in receiving mode? Because we can pray over and over and over again till we learn to
Yeah,
receive. It's a hard bit.
that's
We
true.
can
Very true.
Nothing's gonna
Mm,
change. So it's very much
mm,
about the devotion of receiving and giving the right
mm,
mixture, and about
mm.
energy. You mentioned I'm an energy
Mm.
worker. You need to clear your energy.
Yes.
You can't hold on to your
That,
emotion.
I think that should be the basic tip that you have to give to people. That first and foremost, you have to clear your energy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's positive energy and there's negative energy. You have to give some tips, later
Yes.
on, like when we're
But it's
talking about your
really,
spirituality.
so there isn't really so much negative and positive energy. We get wrapped up in that.
Okay.
There is
All
stuck
right.
and flowing energy. Stuck energy is bad energy.
Okay.
Emotions flowing through you are not bad energy. They don't harm you at all. It's when they get
Okay.
tangled and stuck in your
Oh.
organs. That's
Hmm.
when they become toxic, harmful.
Hmm. 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 That's true. That's true.
Mhm.
Simone, can you share some of your practical tips that my viewers can implement in their daily lives?
Well, the book has over 400 pages of practical tips. We need to narrow it down. So, which chapter would tickle it? Because the book is written in a very special way. I do not want to take
Okay.
away from your prayer time. I don't want to take away from your devotion with
Hmm.
God. Therefore, I wrote
Hmm.
15 standalone chapters.
Hmm. Hmm.
Standalone chapters. So you
Oh,
pick when you get the
okay.
book, you pick one
Hmm.
chapter that you feel would get you the most forward in your Ramadan right now.
Hmm.
Like hydration is
Okay.
a good one to start with because
Yeah.
otherwise a dry fast is actually not healthy.
Hmm. Hmm. Simone, you also have developed a unique coaching approach to fertilizing the growth of a woman worldwide,
Yeah.
particularly during menopause. Can you
Yes.
explain that? Can you explain?
Yeah.
It's very important subject, actually. Very important topic.
It's a very important
Hmm.
topic. And first of
Yeah.
all, we need to like I I wouldn't consider, I know you introduced me as a healer. I wouldn't consider myself a healer. God's a healer. I'm the
Right.
extension. I'm just the
Right.
extension of it. But the
Okay.
credit goes up, um, which is really important to me. And also,
Hmm.
you are the expert. You just forgot to trust yourself and to listen to yourself, which is a gift I have. And I can teach you that again so that you can learn to trust your own instinct, your own gut
Okay.
feeling, actually, because we are feeling
Gut
beings.
feeling.
And women in menopause, out of my experience, and I work with hundreds of them, um,
Okay.
the more you're away from your inner authenticity and authority, like your
Hmm.
gut instinct, you're doing what feels right, the harder
Hmm.
menopause is.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
more you look
Okay.
for outside help instead of inside knowledge, because it is the bridge from a reproduction,
Hmm.
recreation, for creation, like through production,
Hmm.
into wisdom,
Yeah.
into recreation.
Hmm.
So we are so busy having raised kids and multitasks on that beautiful estrogen in the
Hmm.
hormone that we have, which makes
Hmm.
us spin 100 plates while we're doing everything else. That is what estrogen does. So when
Hmm.
our creator has given that a time limit, not to not to punish us. Basically, while we are looking after kids, we don't really exist as mothers instinctively.
True.
Everyone else is more important. And
True.
and that's our hormones really help us with that, to put everyone else first. In menopause, there is a window where we need to put ourselves on our priority list.
Hmm.
We need to turn inwards and create that relationship with ourselves and our inner child. If we have not connected our own childhood trauma and kind of like really worked with that and have like a good inner relationship with our inner child, that makes menopause hard. And that splits kind of the
Okay.
two kind of clients. We have clients that are in fight and flight. They are in survival mode. Their whole system is just fight and flight, run, run, run. They're so busy and they cannot stop.
True.
So
True.
these women, they are not for transformational coaching and growing. You first need to get out of survival mode into growth mode. And when you're in growth mode,
Okay.
that's when you're your own coach.
Wow. It seems a very long, tedious
Things,
journey, Simone.
yeah, pardon?
It seems a very long. It seems a very long and tedious journey.
No, not at
Long
all.
journey, isn't
It
it?
can be instant, but it needs to be addressed.
Instant?
You can't look away and think
Huh.
someone else will heal you. You need to actually go there, but it's not long. Like, first of all, I only ever work with clients for 1 month at a time, unless I've had complex, like they had trauma, like for menopause, it's 1 month. After that, you know what you're doing. Obviously, that's different when you're in survival mode. We probably need to get a month to get you out of survival mode, as long as you're willing to step out of
Okay.
victim and blaming others. But if you would like to stay a
Okay.
victim and blaming others, I'm not the right person to work with you through that. Then enjoy being a blaming others.
Another thing I just want to ask you: do you do this distant healings as well?
I
And
work distant.
what is your success rate
Well, I don't do
while
healing,
treating
remember?
people?
I don't do
Hmm?
healing. I don't do healing of cancers or anything
No,
like that.
no,
I don't
no,
do that.
no, no. Whatever your mode is, but how long does it take? And how many women you're basically, another question is coming up is, you're only you are confining only to women. Why not men? Why don't you treat the men? They also
Mhm.
have issues, they also have traumas,
Yes,
isn't
and they
it?
probably have men that understand them much better than I could ever do. I do know my limits, and I much prefer working with women because I work with a curious mind and I work with intuition. And our part of intuition in our brain is just stronger developed than most men. Not all
Hmm.
men, but
Hmm.
most men. Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Most
have
men.
worked with men.
Okay.
It's not, it's like I've
You
worked
have.
with hundreds of my lovely clients. I do coaching, couple coaching, and they are lovely and fantastic. Um, but I prefer it's
Um,
also I have the choice. I work as much as I want, so I can choose.
okay. I remember you telling me that you had an advisor or a coach who is or who was an atheist.
He still
Tell me
is.
about that.
Well, I thought that was quite a challenge. Writing a book like the Ramadan book, which is from the first page to the last
Yes, it,
page, drenched in devotion.
unbelievable. I mean, an atheist is guiding you to write a book.
I
I'm
know.
really, I'm really,
He first
yeah.
refused. He did refuse, actually. Um,
He
so
did refuse. Yeah,
yeah, he did refuse, and but then he
yeah.
got intrigued the more he heard me talking about it, and he said, this is actually quite interesting. I could just have a look over, a glance over, and that glance over was like half a year of work with me. So he couldn't stop because it was
Okay.
just so delicious, the book, and so wonderful. And it's just beautiful how he is very American. He
Okay.
is very materialistic and system
Huh.
based and quite loud and things like
Hmm.
that. And when I first
Hmm.
kind of like we were brainstorming on the name of the book and things like that, he completely got it wrong. The superlatives, of the greatest ever, So it's just like this just doesn't
Yeah.
work. This is a humble book. Do you know how to do humble? And he went away and he
Huh.
came back a changed person. And ever since, he's really curated the book with me. He
Oh wow.
he guards the honor of the women in the book. It's just so wonderful.
Wow.
It's really beautiful.
Must
So
be.
if this is all the book has done, it has had a great impact on. It already has had a great
Okay.
impact on many women. But
I'm sure. I'm sure. tell my viewers that you have a special offer for your book for only Sunday, which is tomorrow, for £1 only by on Amazon.
Yes.
नाजरीन अगर आपको इनकी बुक पढ़नी है तो आप अमेजोन से £1 में इतवार के दिन आप ले सकते हैं. So go ahead and buy it. It's something really interesting to read. Another thing I wanted to ask you, you quoted "melt my stress." Now, melt my stress. What is your teaching mode? This is another question I've been asked,
Yeah.
and then we'll go on to your spirituality.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all I do, like while I do coaching like this, kind of like on a computer worldwide on Zoom, we don't just stand
Okay.
between the ears. We don't just do thought processes like a lot of the mentors
Okay.
do. We do breath
Yes.
work,
Yes.
we do movement, and like it's called
Okay.
somatics when it moves into your cells. So we make it cellularly available. All the
Okay.
insights that we get, we anchor them in cellularly. And also I advise on detoxification of the liver and other things. So it's a truly
Okay.
holistic, yeah, it's a truly
Oh wow.
holistic.
Okay.
You look at you, I've never given two women
Okay.
the same protocol.
Oh
So
really?
yeah, because it's
Amazing.
as
Amazing.
unique as you are, you know.
Ah, of course. Of course. Of course. Now, coming back to your spirituality, did you inherit or you just had it just out of the blue? What is it? Can you explain? I've got this question coming. Please explain your spirituality. I mean, if you remember in the last interview we had, the people were more focused on spirituality and they
Yeah.
want to know more about spirituality. So, what is? I mean, did you develop it? Did you cultivate it? Was it inherited from your family? And how did you realize that you have this spirituality a degree in yourself, a degree of spirituality in yourself?
Well, I was born with it and it has been inherited. So it has been in my family.
Wow, then
I
you are
didn't
okay.
know really that I had it because how do you know? Let's say you see an extra color that other people don't see. How would you know? You just assume that everyone can see it. So it takes a little while
Hmm.
to realize not everyone hears as much as you
Hmm.
hear, sees as much as you see. Um, and
Hmm.
especially later on in school, it gets you in trouble when you can hear people's mind as loudly as their mouth. What do you respond to? And I usually got it wrong, and I usually got in trouble, and I got bullied, and I had a terrible time in school. To like it was really confusing, and if I wouldn't have had a role model in my family, my granny, that was
Hmm.
compassionate
Okay.
and understood, I think I would have thought that I'm a bit mad, but like I
Um,
hearing voices, and so
voices.
yeah. So you develop
Hearing voices.
skill,
Hearing
but
voices, Simone.
Mhm.
Simone, the thing is, hearing voices also is another way of judging a person who is schizophrenic or
Yeah.
bipolar. I don't know. Yeah.
hmm
So
I
what?
can I can understand that. Um, I think I developed my yogic practice and my meditation to not go mad, to
Mm,
not be bipolar or
mm,
schizophrenic, because it could be schizophrenia, really, because I hear the things that other people
mm.
can't hear. So when I was little, it wasn't so much known about energy work and all these things. Now it's
No,
kind
no.
of quantum
Obviously.
physics makes it okay to speak
Mm,
about what I do.
mm,
So it gets easier
mm,
with
mm,
age. So
mm. Okay. So you also mentioned something about that Jesus came in your life and he told you to write a book, right? Something about the girl who was committing suicide?
yeah. So
Tell
that
us
was
about
my
that.
other
Tell us
book.
about that.
That was about
That's your other book.
That's
Okay.
the other book. That's called
Okay.
The Empowered Butterfly Method. 9 steps.
Okay.
Transition from distress to hope. That is a toilet
Mm,
and a
mm.
butterfly. So it does happen. The transformation happens when you go to the facilities, because we all need to go to the facilities. And the more stressed you
Of
are, the
course.
least likely you're going to do yoga or anything like that, or all the things that are good for you, right? So, but to the toilet, we
Yes.
all.
Yes.
So I did meet the person that has developed the skeleton of this method in a Zoom room,
Okay.
and to her, Jesus came
Okay.
and said, "This woman, me, will be writing your book." At that point,
Okay.
I didn't even know I was a writer yet. So it came again a bit like the Ramadan book as a surprise, and I would go, "No, no, 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 not me. You got this wrong. You're talking to the wrong person." But I did write the
Hmm.
book, and I did become in 4 countries an international bestseller. So we did well. We're still doing well. The
But
method is
yeah,
going
you
quickly.
must have done a lot of research work on Islam. Obviously, I mean, to write a book on Ramadan, which is one of the holiest month in a Muslim, calendar.
Yeah.
So you must have done a lot of research. I mean, where did you go? Who did you reach out to?
Yes. So it was a year of solid dedication to Islam, including reading my book every
Oh,
day,
you
and I
did.
have notes on most pages. Um,
Okay.
and I created a think tank, as even if I were to learn from scratch, I can't possibly know
Hmm.
what a woman that's
Hmm.
76 or 63 years old,
Hmm.
having been grown up with that, I can't possibly read that from a book or research it online. So I just sat
Yeah.
with women, spoke to them, and
Wow.
asked, "How may I support you?" That's it. I'm not
Okay.
I'm not teaching on the Quran. That's not,
No.
that's
No. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
do
Of
that.
course.
I help
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
with the obstacles behind it, and I'm very, very clear of how to get a clear connection to God. So how to, but for that, it's God always listens to your prayers and always answers them. The moving factor
Oh,
is you not being in receiving mode,
that's it. Yes.
not feeling worthy. And one of the things all Muslim women I've spoken to, all of them, without fail so far, and maybe you are the first one, or maybe there's a listener that's the first one. I would love to meet that woman. It doesn't matter how good they do at Ramadan, how hard they do their prayers, how good they do. They
Yeah.
always say they could do better.
That's
They're
true.
never,
I,
it's never good enough what they're doing. And it doesn't matter if they're balancing an entire household and several kids and a job, fitting in the prayers, there's still that
yeah.
guilt. It seems to
Absolutely.
be
Yeah.
inherent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I try to free you from the
Hmm.
guilt, because it's really difficult to receive blessings when you're in guilt mode.
True. Very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Simone, were you a devout Christian? I mean, you used to go to church regularly because Roman Catholics are very strict about the
Yes.
worship every Sunday regularly, and they have a
Oh,
mass. Because
more
I
than
was
that.
also
Much more than that. So you know how you have 5 prayers a day? Well, that's very normal to me. I would wake up in the
yes,
morning
I know.
and pray. I
Yeah,
would pray
yeah.
before and after every meal, right?
Wonderful. That's
That's
how it
proper
should be.
tithing
Yes,
right
that's
there.
how.
And then I
Yeah.
would go to
No,
church,
my
and pray again before I go to bed.
that's
And also,
yeah,
as a child, because I shared a bedroom with my granny, my bedtime story, the only bedtime story I got, was the Bible.
yeah. Of course. I mean,
So,
I think
uh,
everyone should have a Quran by their side and should do say a short prayer before going to bed.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Alhamdulillah, I do. Acha, the question again I'm going to ask you is that's why I asked you, were you a very devout Christian? Do you have to be religious to be spiritual?
Well, so I believe that the reason why you're following Islam mainly is because you were born in a country where that was a
Yeah.
choice. So where I was
Yes.
born,
Yes.
in the village I was born, there was one choice
Where
and
were you
one
born,
choice
by the
only.
way? Simone,
It's
where were
called
you born?
in Germany.
Where were you born?
In Germany.
Germany. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
oldest town in Germany, and I was born in a village, so nowhere really near the town. So there was one
Okay.
church, one school, one kindergarten, one football club, one youth center.
Hmm.
All of it
Hmm.
was Roman Catholic. So
Okay.
how would it be possible? How can it be a sin for me, or how can I be wrong being a good person not being
Hmm.
Islamic? Because there is no Islam where I come from, right? And
True.
so
Really.
what you are, that was the choice of your parents or whatever that is. So we're usually born into a religion. I see religion like the politics of
Hmm.
of devotion.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Devotion and
Hmm.
what the book is about, it's not about that. Because
Hmm.
there's passages in the Bible that I find gruesome. There are passages in the Quran that I frown upon. Um, it's okay,
Okay.
it's fine. So I try to leave our differences behind and focus on what we have in common. And it doesn't matter
Rise
what
above it all. Yeah.
we
Hmm.
pray for the same thing. And
Of
I'm
course.
supporting women in Ramadan that pray for
Hmm.
peace and a sustainable future. This book is
Huge.
not for extremists that want to kill the other.
No, that's a
It's
good news. That's very good. At least, yeah, yeah. Everybody is encouraged to read that. Now, a question has just arise. Come again. Is the girl who saw Jesus in the vision, was she a Muslim or a Christian? Because when he said that you are going to write a book on Ramadan,
well,
was she a Muslim or a Christian?
the
Yeah, the
woman
girl.
that that I wrote the other book with is Christian, and she didn't write the Ramadan book with me. Yeah, it's a
No.
different book.
So what in that's what I'm saying. So what motivated you to write on Ramadan? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. So it's really my clients who kind of like pushed me into writing down the good stuff that I've
Okay.
shared with them. And then it came
Okay.
clear in meditation. So there was one particular
Oh.
client of mine
Huh.
who has taken notes of what I told her. She sent me the notes before Ramadan
Okay.
and
Okay.
basically begged me, here, come on, you need to write something, a pamphlet, anything, you know. So this is good. This is too good to stay in the drawer. And that's how it, that's, just these little nuggets, these little nudges, um,
Hmm.
make things happen. And
Apart.
these little nudges happen throughout all of life. You get pushed there. It's like sliding
But
doors. You
yeah, of
never
course.
know.
Hmm.
Just trust.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, you've been writing the book and you've been practicing spirituality for over 20 years now. Was there any chance at all that your confidence or your faith was shaken? Any incident?
Yes. So when I moved to Glasgow here in Scotland, I moved next to something called the Celtic Football Ground. And
Okay.
Celtic, they're the Roman Catholics. They're the Catholics. And they play against someone called Rangers, which are the
Yeah.
Protestants. And when I moved here,
Okay.
Glasgow was
Oh,
the
yes.
murder capital of Europe.
Yes.
And these two literally slaughtered each other on the street. It was
Really?
horrific, horrific. So at that point, I had to say that I sign out of the religion of Roman Catholic and devote my life to the one God that connects us all. So that was a big thing for me, to actually say, I don't think I can sign up for that club any longer.
That
It
must be
was a
terrifying there. I mean,
and
okay.
also going to church here. They were really
yeah.
talking against one another terribly. They were really not inclusive in any way. Very different from where I came from and what I experienced on my travels otherwise. So yes,
Which
very, very.
countries have you traveled so far, Simone?
Pardon?
Which countries have you traveled? Which countries have you traveled so far?
Oh, well, I've lived in several countries. So I've lived in
Oh,
New
you have.
Zealand.
Okay.
I've lived in Canada.
Okay.
I did extensive training in India for my yoga teacher training, and
Okay.
also Yugoslavia, or which is now Croatia. I have a house there, so I spent quite a lot of time there. And they had a
Croatia.
war over
Okay.
religion not that long ago.
Not long ago. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. The main question now coming to you is what is your relationship with God? Now, first of all, explain your near death experience. Forgot to ask you that.
Well,
You have to
it's
tell
quite.
me
I
that.
could probably write a book over that just by itself. It's
But
not really
still,
something.
I would read it. I would buy the book. Don't worry. But it's for my viewers. They need to know what was your near death experience and did you meet God? What is your connection? These are the two questions you have to answer here in my program.
Well, so um, I I try to give you a brief, in a nutshell, kind of like answer,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
otherwise we
Okay.
won't get to the good stuff, giving you treats from the book, right? So I was in an operation, and I, as you would say, probably flatlined or went out of my body. So I left my body. I was like at the ceiling, like many people say that, looking at me,
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
going, oh, how, it's really confusing when you're outside of your body. But that's only stage one. And from there was a real pull of like a white tunnel that pulled me like a magnet, kind of like away. And how I would like to say and how I explain it to my clients in sessions. If you imagine that you pull a blackout blind down, like just a blackout blind to leave the sun outside, and then you put lots of little pin pricks in it. So
Yeah.
each of
Okay.
those pin pricks is connected to one life,
Okay.
right? So I
All right.
realized that there's experience that I went up the beam of the pinprick, and each beams, you tell me, are there different sources of light or are they the same source of light? Each pinprick. So if you have
Different.
a sun, you close the shutters and you have like dots in there. What comes through there? Are they any different from one another or are they all the same?
No, they're different.
Well, they're different at the end of the beam in the incarnation, in the meat suit. They're different. But like on the light is exactly the same as the source light. So I can't call it male or female. Like my God, it was hard for me to write the God as a male in the book because it's really it
Of course.
boggles my brain because my God is not male nor female. It's it's like the divine. It's like all there is,
Oh,
life force. It's
of
the
course.
height
Of course.
of
I mean, the
intelligence, the
divine
height
light, it's
of
pure
integrity.
white light.
Exactly. So it's
We,
difficult for me
yeah,
to
we
speak
call
about
we call it Noor. Simone,
Noor.
we call it Noor. Noor.
It
Noor.
is. That's what it is.
Yes.
So I went up the
Yeah.
Noor
Yeah.
into the big Noor. So, and there,
Wow.
there is no body. You dissolve. The more you go up, the more you dissolve into something I call now quantum soup. Right? I didn't have
Yeah.
a name for it because quantum physics wasn't a thing when I was that age.
No.
So,
Yeah.
but
I bet you didn't want to come back.
there's a presence you can talk to, speak to. And I spoke
Oh.
and I said, I'm not ready. I am not ready.
Oh.
And you know
Oh.
why I wasn't ready.
Okay.
And that was really, really fun. I think it's still hilarious. It's really funny. So I said, I have not loved yet. I've not been loved. I'm a young teenager. I am not going through, I've had so much pain in my life. I was bullied so much. I've really not really, beside my loving family, I didn't really have like much friendship or kinship. And I wanted to feel love. And so I said, like,
Oh.
here, happy to do whatever you say, but send me back and let me have love. Well, you get what you bargained for, don't you? I followed God
Yes.
ever since. And did I find love? Yes, I did.
I bet you did. I bet.
Yeah,
Oh,
very much.
that's lovely. That's a lovely story too. Okay, almost near the end of the program. Well, we have few minutes already.
Well,
Yes,
we still
I
want to
want
do
you to give
a
some.
little insights, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you buy the book, but even if you don't buy the
Hmm,
book, we have a website
hmm.
called, get your pen out now, Ramadan, number 4,
Okay.
YOU.org. It's free, it's for anyone, any religion, and it's our resource site for the book because I can't put videos and audios and extra
No,
good
no,
stuff
no.
into the book. There were,
Hmm,
I had a
hmm.
limit of 400 pages that I went over. There's lots
Yeah,
of good things on there. And there is,
I'm
I
good.
probably would go to the focus chapter when we talk about meditation. If you really kind of like want to sharpen your focus, there's one tool
Okay.
which I found in France. It's a gypsy tool for
Hmm.
meditation. You look at it, there's a video, it explains it, you print it out, and when you look at it in a certain way, you will know because what you look at will change. And when it changes, you know you're in a theta brainwave. Theta brainwave is your first step into proper prayer or meditation.
Okay.
And you can see
Okay.
it, practice it rather than guessing. Oh yeah, I'm really
Oh.
meditating hard here. So sure I'm doing well.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't need to guess. You can
Ah,
actually see it.
ah.
And then you can learn
Maybe wrong
how
way we are meditating. Hmm?
it feels. And then you don't need the tool anymore.
Hmm.
But that's
Okay.
like my hot tip. And the good thing is you don't even need to believe in any God for it at all. It works with anyone. It even works with men.
Okay. Okay. All right. So anyone who wants to contact you for your consultation,
Yes. You
should we give
find
your
me.
telephone number? Yeah.
Just put my name anywhere and you will find me, or go for
All right.
meltmystress.com. Or on social media,
Melt my
I'm
stress.
easy to find. I've been around for a long time.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
Yeah.
Any tip for instant stress or anxiety? Any
Yes.
tip for instant anxiety? Yes.
Instant. Yes.
Go ahead.
So when you
Yeah.
have strong anxiety, the first thing you know that you have strong anxiety, your breath is stuck in the top of your lungs.
Hmm.
And it really gets stuck then. If you have an anxiety attack, it doesn't move at
Hmm.
all down. It just stays up there and you
Hmm.
can't really breathe anymore. So
Hmm.
usually people would say, breathe into your tummy. Bring one hand on the tummy, one hand on the heart, and make your bottom hand
Yes.
move. So
Yeah.
if you cannot do that because you've been in chronic stress or you have complex trauma or you are in
Yeah.
an anxiety attack, I have one more tip. And I know this
Okay.
sounds easy, but it is actually really, really powerful. So rather than trying to breathe deep, because if you cannot do what I told you first, the breathing into your belly, if that's not possible,
Hmm.
what you do is you
Hmm.
hold your breath. Hold your breath. So usually because you breathe shallowly, you don't have a big breath, so you don't go hold your breath, you actually breathe out and hold your breath. Can we just demonstrate that just now and see what happens? So we breathe
Yeah.
out,
Breathe.
Breathe out
Yeah.
and hold your breath for as long as you can. You will have to breathe, and that's a beautiful yogic lesson, is you don't need to
Yes.
take a breath. Your breath is gifted to you. It's your daily blessing.
Different.
You're blessed. Every
Absolutely.
breath you're blessed. And then you're asking God, where are my blessings? Where are my blessings? This is your blessing. Your number one blessing is your
Please.
breath.
Breath. Yes,
Do
absolutely.
that is the question. Are you just breathing in the top of your lungs and not taking that blessing in? Or do you take it all the way down, all the way into the backbone? See if you can breathe into your chair, into your back and your bottom. There's so much lung available for you. If you think of all these blessings being parked around you all the time, accumulating, the only numpty here is us, because we're not taking them in. We're not
Yeah.
exhaling properly, so we have the stagnant air stuck there. So when we hold our breath, we will then really, really empty our lungs afterwards. So we take good
Okay.
breaths after we held our breath. I have an entire
Lovely.
YouTube channel, and I have a Breathe With Me part. It's all in the Ramadan resources on ramadan4u.org. So it's the easiest way
Do
to get more
do
information
you
on that.
have any classes on your channel, like yoga or meditation classes? Do you have?
Well, I don't tend to do classes because everyone's different, and my superpower is to give you the breath work that you need rather than a generic class. There's,
Okay.
there's an abundance of
Okay.
generic good classes out there. I don't
Hmm.
need.
Hmm.
I'm not my job. I do have a yoga. I have recorded things on the Ramadan resources.
Okay. Okay.
But it's
Okay.
not
We'll look
it's
into
not
that.
like with the book. It's not the more the merrier. It's putting into action
Hmm.
what you learn is a tricky bit. So even if you only learn
Absolutely.
a few things and you do them properly, that's so much better.
Lovely. Right. I think we are nearly towards the end of a time. It's been an absolute joy and a pleasure talking to you and you sharing your experiences, your knowledge, your expertise with my viewers. Thank you so much. We will think and perhaps we can do another program depending on the topic that you think is the need of the hour after Ramadan, of course. We can do that.
Mhm.
Till then, ciao. Thank you. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much,
much.
Simone.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you,
नाजरीन,
Rizvi.
आई एम श्योर आपने ये प्रोग्राम देखा हमारी गेस्ट जिमोनी मोयर, जो कि एक जर्मन है और उन्हीं ने किताब लिखी है ख़ास कर ख़वातीन के लिए, और आज उन्हीं ने लॉन्च की है कि रमदान फॉर द वुमेन यू आर। तो इसमें बहुत अच्छी चीज़ें उन्होंने लिखी हैं, और जैसा कि अभी हम ये गुफ्तगू और गुफ्तशनीद हो रही थी कि स्पिरिचुअलिटी हम लोग कितनी कोशिश करते हैं रूहानियत के लिए, और बहुत ज़्यादा हमें ये कहा जाता है कि नफ्स भी पाक होना चाहिए, मज़हब भी होना चाहिए, बहुत कुछ होना चाहिए। तो आपको कहीं रूहानियत की पहली सीढ़ी पे शायद वो भी चढ़ सकते हैं, लेकिन ये खातून को शायद विरसे में रूहानियत मिली है और बहुत हम्बल है, बहुत अच्छी हैं खातून, और इन्हीं ने बहुत सारी इसके अलावा प्रोग्राम के अलावा भी मुझसे बातें की हैं। तो ये मेरा ख्याल है कि अल्लाह की देन है इनके ऊपर, और रमज़ान के लिए उन्हें लिखा है। तो आप लोग अगर उनकी किताब लेना चाह रहे हैं तो कल स्पेशल ऑफर है, अमेज़न पे £1 में उनकी किताब मिल रही है, अदरवाइज़ आप उनको यूट्यूब चैनल पे भी देख सकते हैं। टेक केयर ऑफ़ योरसेल्फ, रमज़ान करीम। आप सब प्लीज़ पहले अपने मुल्क के लिए, अपने अक़ीदे के लिए, अपने मज़हब के लिए, अपने امت مسلمہ کے لیے دعائیں کیجیے کہ پروردگار اس بابرکت مہینے میں ہم سب کو صحیح مسلمان قائم اور دائم